weight in this game, so that's cool. I'm just gonna loot everything and then look at what I got once it's all in my bag.
Patience! My nerves are frayed!
Frayed. Navigator, Staff of Arcelio Guardian. In allies targeted by Navigator powers, gain +5 bonus to all their characteristics until the end of the Navigator's next turn. This bonus stack is prolonged to the Navigator's next turn every time it stacks. Okay, so that's a Navigator item. Deadshot Snub Revolver. 7 to 12 HP. Okay, so that's an upgrade.
Even I won't
can I
do
not use that? Oh, requires 35 strength. Another Navigator staff. Lasgun. Ritobi pattern lasgun? Auto gun. Oh, I'm trying to read that. Okay. Is that an upgrade? This guy uses his gun a little bit. Lasgun 5 to 7, 10 range. Seems like this is better. Oh, wait. Like that. Okay. Back to the ship. It always just shoots to 90% and then takes a long time to get to 100. It's like those old Windows installations. My chair turning around like a supervillain. Lord Captain, Lady Navigator, welcome aboard. The Sanctum Navis has been prepared for the communion ritual, but if the Lady Navigator wishes to rest in her quarters first... Your heart starts beating furiously. Your breaths come short and choppy, and your fingertips tingle unpleasantly. You notice that Vigdis is shivering slightly, and the crew are glancing around in puzzlement, searching for the source of this sudden wave of unease. Without even looking at the Voxmaster, Cassia waves her away. First, I wish to speak with the rogue trader. Leave us. Of course. When you are ready for the ritual, please let me know. Cassia sweeps her pensive gaze over Vigdis, then lowering her lashes slightly, turns to you. What did you wish to speak about? Before I begin the ritual, I wish to look once again into the eyes of the man whose fame is so great it managed to penetrate the impregnable walls of Uruk 5 long before we ever met. I mean, I just got this ship 5 minutes ago. It is truly you, Muck Von Luck, the person the whole Expanse and Calixtus sector are talking about, and now, a rogue trader as well. After a few seconds hesitation, Cassia lets out a small exhale and then raises her pointed chin. I have not yet thanked you for saving me on the station. My thoughts were clouded with so much mournful ash when Theobald's heart stopped, but you acted honorably and did not exploit me in my wretched position. For that I am immeasurably grateful. I am also deeply grateful that you saved my servants, especially my valet. Uwe served on the station for more than 5 years, much longer than any who preceded him. He knows how to properly attend to me during journeys through the Immaterium and what to serve me for breakfast. His presence envelops me in a cloak of amber. He knows what to serve me for breakfast. But now, Cassia throws back her shoulders. I'm ready to go to the Sanctum Navis and perform the sacred rite. I require brushes, canvas, and the best paints you have on board, but no red. Tell me more about what this ritual entails. I doubt the uninitiated could understand the mysteries of the navigation, but I shall try to explain the essence of it. I must merge my mind and will with the machine spirit of the ship so that I become one with the vessel. Cassia lifts a lock of her hair from the back of her neck, revealing gilded implant ports. After that, I use the House Arcelio ritual, which I am loath to reveal to you, to free my mind of all errant thoughts. And then it is time to open my third eye and peer into the depths of the warp itself. Among the nightmarish visions, mirages, and creatures of the abyss, only the light of the Emperor is the truth that will lead me from star to star, from system to system. Oh, the light, the guiding thread, so fine it can slip from one's grasp at any moment. Cassia unfurls her hand as though dropping something. But you have nothing to worry about. The navigators of House Roselio never lose their course. Why do you refuse red paint? She gestures towards the servant standing beside her. Uwe will give of his blood before the ritual, as always. I shall ensure all necessary supplies are delivered to the Sanctum Navis. She nods and thanks. I shall take my leave of you for the duration of the rite. I ask that you do not follow me. A few can survive the gaze of my warp eye when it is opened. I mean, you opened it during the battle back there, and you blasted people like 4 times. They did die. It did some damage, but you know. Lord Captain, I will oversee the open channel between the Lady Navigator and the bridge, and may the Emperor's light help us all. Oh, that's what her full portrait looks like. It's cropped in the little frame. We usually see it. Okay, so I guess we've done with Yurak. The Voxcaster in the Sanctum Navis picks up the susurration of clothes, pious chanting, and the metallic clicking of implants. Then the serene voice of the Lady Navigator breaks the silence. Initiating communion ritual. Come here, Uwe. The exultant ring of metal freed from its scabbard. The low sob of the servant. The rhythmic drip of liquid on the canvas. You know, she was so grateful to have Uwe. Does Uwe like his job? The faint whisper of the brush. Go. Footsteps hurrying away. I see violet vortexes lashing an ocean with a million flails. An umber shadows spinning over the surface in a fiery dance. A storm rising above foaming waters. Armadas drowning in fog. The path from one end to another cannot be seen. And here, beyond the wall of glass, a daughter forsaken by her father yearns for her brother. And the sun's pale disk goes on tireless pursuit. Of her? No, of me. Its frozen rays lie that spring is here. The light is deadened, the great ruler is gone. Voxmaster Vigdis. The Voxmaster recoils at Cassia's words and accidentally snaps one of the cogitator levers. The panel beneath her fingers emits sparks, and the Voxcaster falls silent. She quickly flips a series of switches and bows guiltily. My abject apologies for cutting off the broadcast, Lord Captain. I've never heard the warp speaking through a navigator before. The connection is restored now. It will not happen again. 5 lashes. Oh my god. Leave the Lady Navigator undisturbed. Soul-shredding screams drown out the Vox transmission. The servants of the Sanctum Navis are howling and shrieking like wild beasts, moaning in pain. Their throats raw from the strain. And then, sudden silence. Maybe we should have gotten the servants out of there before you opened your friggin' kill eye? The dull thud of dropping bodies proclaims their fate. It appears the servants were part of Lady Navigator's rite, as it was for her predecessor. I will arrange for the bodies to be removed from the Sanctum Navis after the ritual, or what is left of them. Rogue traitor, I fear I have unfortunate news. Endless blackness has spread across the canvas, dividing what should be whole in two, and my sight cannot glimpse the light of the Emperor as clearly as before. I cannot turn around, my brush only draws me onward. The way is blocked. You hear a heavy exhale, rustling fabric, and metallic clicking. By the Emperor's grace, the ritual was successful. Your vessel's temperament presented a challenge. Its cold steel grip did not allow me to breathe freely even for a second. It was as if the depths of the ship housed not only machine spirits, but something other. Now I will retreat to my chambers to cover my strength. Send for me if you have need of me. Lord Captain, congratulations on acquiring a navigator. Spare me a few moments of your time, please. There are several matters that require your attention. First of all, I want to report on the condition of the station Yurak 5. Let's see. That wasn't her third eye, she just had a really mean glare. Oh, geez. I have Space Marines, Tal'Gene, Steel, Cold Army, and Max. I have parts of other armies as well. Are we talking about actual physical Warhammer in chat? Had you opted to begin your visit to the Reinken system with a different designation, the system could have become critically unstable. Fortunately, the decision to immediately visit the representatives of the Navis Nobilite brought us precious time. We can either send our forces to disassemble the station and procure technological components for our own vessel, or attempt to save as many valuables as we can. Gather any components that may be of use on the ship. As you command, Lord Captain. With your permission, I would also like to remind you that we are still looking for an Engine Seer Prime. Both the vessel and its machine spirits are in desperate need of oversight by an experienced tech priest. We are also missing some crew, and much more importantly, we have not yet located Heinrichs van Kalox, the right hand of the Lord Inquisitor. Now we know for sure he was not at Uruk 5, so keep him in mind when making any future plans. Thank you, Vigdis. This will be all for now. As it pleases you, Lord Captain. Okay, so we've got 5 things. Whee! Lord Captain, there is some commotion on the officer's deck. The Lady Navigator has left her quarters and is currently in the wardroom, where uninitiated crew members are shunning her in terror. Perhaps you should find out what has brought Cassia to the deck. Did you finish the other Warhammer game, the tactical? Sigmar. Yes! Yes, Star, and I actually did a review video on that. It's one of the most recent videos on the main channel, if you would like to see it. Took Noxie about a week to prepare that one. A lot of work went into that one. Bow.
Lord Captain, my apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
The Lady Navigator is engrossed in perusing the dusty tomes, which appear to have been neglected by the other officers, be it because of the sloth or a dullness of mind. When you walk closer, Cassia looks up at you, starts, and hides a weathered book behind her back. Point at the book in Cassia's hands. I see you are fond of reading.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves. And I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing. Uruk 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
Cassia gently brushes the dust off the cover with her thin, clawed hand, her eyes filling with longing after reminiscing about her lost home. I hope that you will have... wait. Oh, hold on a sec. I hope you have had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others, and far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility.
Oh, that's how we say that?
I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior in your question just now insulting.
The events that took place on Uruk 5 must have shaken you greatly. Are you well?
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orselio, Lord Captain.
You have to exhaust all of these, I
Like
guess?
a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you.
Cassia's response is reserved and pointedly decorous, clearly intended to create a distance between you. Your only attendant is your valet from Uruk 5. Do my servants not measure up to your standards?
No, it is not that at all, Lord Captain. It is just that Uwe is quite capable of carrying out his duties by himself. He is well accustomed to my whims and preferences.
Perception test succeeded. Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The unnatural appearance of navigators often becomes the topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is unsurprising then that Cassia prefers the company of one who is used to how she looks.
Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying. You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling for one such as I.
Fellow feeling?
I beg your pardon, Lord Captain. That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
How is a navigator brought about, Mark? Jackals, none of the other Warhammer games I have played thus far had navigators that I know of, so I don't know much about them. Apparently they plug into the ship, they have a third eyeball on their head, and it is very violent when anyone is around them when they open that eye, and it allows them to see through the warp being like basically hell. And so when the ship goes through the warp, the navigator is what keeps them from basically, you know, getting lost. However, the navigator has to be able to look into hell and keep their eyes open and not be taken over by demons and stuff the whole time they're doing it. Which seems really, really similar to the Psychers, but apparently navigators are somehow special. And like, she's got a third eye, she's got longer limbs than normal, she's got claws on her hands. So there's not much more I know than that. Seems like you can try to open a romance option with her, but like, I just met her. Beast Girl, 10 out of 10. Beast Girl? I don't know, the Sister of Battle. She kicks butt and takes names. I like her too. Ah, sure, why not? I am beginning to think, Lady Cassia, that the feelings I have for you are far more complicated than common sympathy.
Lord Captain? So many colorful sparks are flaring to life and dimming all around you. It is a veritable ocean of emotions. There are so many of them that I can barely see the pure white sincerity of your words.
Yes, I am very sincere.
Please forgive me. I cannot even understand myself right now. Your words and attention have reminded me of life on the station, of Theobald and Felek. I do not understand. They were merely the keepers of Urak 5. So why do memories of those two make me feel a strange heaviness here?
She places a hand on her breastplate.
At the same time, I find myself overwhelmed with new excitement and anticipation. At last, I have set foot outside my familiar walls and into a world that I have only seen before in the pages of books. Your ship alone is a treasure trove of remarkable artifacts and curiosities. And just imagine the things that await beyond, but my delight must seem childish to you, surely. In your heart, you must be finding all this quite amusing.
One of the options is I would rather find amusement with you in my chambers. Yeah, we just met. What I find childish is your manner of addressing me? Oh my god. I understand what you are going through. My own life was turned upside down not too long ago.
Indeed. I did not know. That is to say, I could not have known, as it is the first time we are speaking in a circumstance so private.
I mean, Ube's right there.
When I found this place, it was so full of officers. Why did they all leave?
Then I moved to Bel Air. My life got flipped, turned upside down. Let's go to my chambers. Dude, every dialogue option is like, giggity giggity goo. If I may be so bold as to presume, my subjects must have found themselves overcome by your rare beauty, as I have.
Words like that, Lord Captain, could easily be misconstrued. You should familiarize yourself with some of the works in your library to learn the appropriate manner of conversing with a lady.
Oh, I should have hit the giggity button. Struggling to maintain an expression of polite indifference, Cassia covers her burning face and exits the room. And blip, she just vanishes. Where are we? Goods. Is this the book on how to, Dude, there is literally a book on how to talk to ladies. Oh my gosh. An admirer who seeks the favor of a refined lady is well advised to maintain pointed courtesy and finesse in his every deed. An honorable admirer will never defile a noble lady's ears with crude or indecent words, and neither will he allow himself conduct that could besmirch her honor and dignity. Above all, the admirer should remember that a relationship begins with the right choice of words. Shower your lady with compliments that will accentuate her finest qualities without putting her in a position of discomfort. A word chosen elegantly and spoken with genuine warmth may bring about a change in the lady's eyes as she looks upon you. Once your interaction has grown more intimate, always be sure to remember the simple rules of etiquette. For example, should the lady drop her handkerchief, the deepest expression of sympathy for her would be to perform the following gesture. Pick up the handkerchief, wait a brief moment, then bring the handkerchief to your lips and touch it lightly before returning it to the lady. What, you gotta kiss the mud that was on it when it was off the ground? This noble gesture will assure the lady of the seriousness of your intentions. Remember that the flower bud of true feelings takes time to blossom. Patience, loyalty, and impeccability in adhering to the decorums of the nobility is key to earning the lady's favorable disposition. Chat, let me tell you about talking to ladies. Had a, today at 5 p.m., I got an email that said, your package was delivered successfully. And I'm not going to say what it was, because I don't know if she's earshot. But it was a Christmas present that I had ordered for Lady Luck. And I was like, what? They just delivered it? So she's in the living room. I walk past her, go to the front door, and it's dark outside. And I open the door, look down, there it is. And I pick it up, put it under my arm, walk back in, and walk back past her to my office. And she's like, what are you doing? Because I go outside quite rarely. And I went outside, which got her attention, and I came back with a box. And I responded, minding my business. You should too. Master of romance. And then she just looks at me confused for a few seconds, and then she's like she kind of got it. She kind of got it. She's like, oh, okay, it's close to Christmas. I shouldn't have stopped asking questions. How's your head not rolling on the floor? Because I was holding a gift for her, and she knew it. She figured it out. Oh, I remember this room. In chapter 1, we fought here. We fought some enemies in here. Oh man, those bloodstains came right up. Did you see him just do a loopy-loop? What was that? Oh, there's the lady we just got. So we haven't met that person, and that person, I don't think. Or wait, no. Is that our current warrior guy? That might be our warrior. When do we get the friggin' Viking Marine? Oh, look, there she is. She's a character. Alright, so... Voice of command, bring it down, finest hour. The officer grants an ally an extra turn with full AP and MP. During the extra turn, there's no attack limit, finest hour. Alright, so she's an officer like my main guy. All creatures in a cone of the navigator suffer 11 to 14 damage. The affected targets must also pass a 30 bonus willpower resistance test or become stunned. Okay. Can I see her weapon? Enemies started with the navigator powers. Get my all the characters start navigators next to it. Stacks is ruined every time the scene starts navigator's powers. Okay, so there's nothing like the lightning arc on her. Can a navigator use a psychic staff, or can she only use a navigator staff? Yeah, they said she was really long. Look at her. Like, that's how tall my guy is. That's how tall she is, and then that's her. And she's like hunched a bit too. So she joins the party. I don't know. We get another officer, but she does. We lose the chain lightning thing if we don't have her in the party. Yeah, she cannot use a Psyker Staff. I was wondering if she could dual wield Psyker Staff and Navigator Staff. Doesn't look like it. So got that. Persuasion. Bring it down. She's like almost a copy of my character, but not quite the same. Inspire Courage. Finest Hour. Choose characteristic. Willpower. Does she generate warp crap? Oh god, what is all this? Course untraveled. Whenever the navigator uses a navigator power that hasn't been used in combat, gets +2 perception. Enemies damaged by the navigator suffers bonus additional damage from warp damage. The bonus stacks with each hit. Ebb and flow. Every even, second, fourth, etc. Dude, they had to explain what even meant. Every even, second, fourth, etc. turn, the navigator gains an additional action point. Every odd turn, she gets +20 perception. Okay. Eye of Oblivion. Every enemy the navigator hits in their line of sight has its dodge chance and hit chance reduced. Wait, every enemy that navigator has in her line of sight has its dodge and hit chance reduced. That's pretty cool. Just for them being within her field of view? Their offense and defense goes down. That's pretty nice. Navigator path powers deal +1 additional damage for every 5 bonus characteristics of the navigator currently equipped staff. Castigating, infusing, and devastating count as characteristics for this talent. Mastery of time. Whenever a creature in combat gains an extra turn, navigator gains a stacking +5 bonus to willpower until the end of combat. So if I had 2 officers, I could do this twice every round. So that could be crazy combined with my main character, who is also an officer. Mind over matter makes all resistance tests with their willpower if it is higher than the base characteristic for any test. If the navigator's willpower is higher than their toughness, the navigator's wounds are calculated according to willpower. Again, that's really good. Oh my god. Enemies affected by the navigator's abilities suffer -10 penalty to the next resistance test. Pass unscathed. If perception is higher than agility, their dodge is calculated with perception. Again, that's really good.
Hey, look, it's the
dude. There's a
tree of
bunch of
birds.
things
How
here she
are
can
you
get,
today?
and then just like focus on just like one stat. Whenever the navigator uses a navigator ability, veil degradation is reduced by -1. Navigator heals willpower bonus wounds at the beginning of every turn, and gains +1 additional wound for every navigator talent taken. The healing increases by +1 for every creature killed. This is regeneration? Bro, what? Her skills are the coolest of any I've seen so far. Enemies moved by the navigator's abilities suffer willpower bonus damage at the end of movement. This damage is increased by +2 for every cell the enemy moves. Threads and faults. Whenever an enemy fails a resistance test against a navigator power, attacks against them gain bonus crit hit chance. Stacks until a crit. Unblinking stare. Until the end of combat, enemies damaged by the navigator suffer additional bonus damage from all attacks of opportunity and cannot dodge attacks of opportunity. Undam the Sea of Souls. While under effect of any navigator power, enemies have their armor reduced. This reduction is increased by the devastating parameter of the navigator staff. Under my protection, allies that are targeted by the navigator's abilities gain +5 to all resistance tests against warp effects, daemons, psychic powers, navigator powers, etc. until the end of combat. The effect stacks with every applied navigator ability. A natural allure. The navigator gains +5 to fellowship and an additional +1 to fellowship for every navigator talent and or navigator power taken. Navigator gains +5 fellowship. Veil of Protection. Allies targeted by the navigator's powers gain 10% armor. The additional armor is reduced by the amount of veil degradation and increased by infusing of the currently equipped staff. Guide of Souls, start all turns, including extra turns, with +3 movement points. The first ally targeted each turn by the Navigator with a single target ability gains the same amount of additional movement points at the start of their next turn. Okay, for now, I'm going to get Eye of Oblivion, or anything in her field of view is slightly worse dodge and hit chance.